Hello. So today we speak about how to sell in multiple markets with paid ads. It's some information about myself, about me, my social media, but you can check later. So today we speak about mostly about market selection strategy, about preparation for global launch, especially if you want to expand for another country or another continents. Speak more deeply about Google ads, Meta ads, and Pinterest, which work pretty good last periods. And I describe a little bit case study for 4 brands with which I work or consult previously. And if you have questions, I can answer this during the call, during the webinar, or after the webinar. So if we talk about percentage of online sales in global retail, it's growing every year, especially after 2020. And right now trend continue. And right now prediction for 2026 that it will be near 22% from all worldwide retail. That's why we continue to see dynamics that global trend for digitalization continue. Yes, this statistics from statista.com. That's why it's like official research with some proofs. So if you talk about market selection strategy, in general, I can say 2 methods of choosing. So first, if you have some current e-commerce current brand and you want to open new countries, you need to understand in which country this product really need, and in which country this product really need. If you mostly test different products, especially I think you need at first try from another side. Yes, you can try to find a country in which you can operate easily, and after this try to understand which product not exist in this country. And it's also a method because I know I work with some kind of people who has 15, 20 shops, and they do from another way, from countryside where fulfillment, payment solution, taxes, manufacturing, and etc., and they try to do this from another side. But most of cases, it's when you have your own brand and you want to expand, and of course, most of people have 2 choices and do 2 actions. First, it's choose USA because it's a bigger market, much more easier, bigger market, big volume, more money. Second method, it's when you try to open country by country because competition less, of course, market volume less. But if competition less, your ROI higher. And if it's still big country, like for example, Romania, Poland, maybe Spain, maybe makes sense to start from these countries instead of try to fight in USA with high level of competition. Plus, it's still Europe. It's still available a lot of everything from payment solution, logistics, manufacturers, and etc. Also, you should use some tools like Ahrefs. I really recommend Ahrefs for this instead of other tools like SEMrush or etc. because it's better. Use Ahrefs. So if you talk about Europe country, because here I try to speak mostly about Europe because everyone knows that USA is great. In Europe, of course, it's Germany, the bigger economy. Second, it's Scandinavian countries. It's Nordics countries. And it's because of revenue, ROI, competition, and logistic moments. France also good, but a lot of problems with local taxes and sometimes with local PSP, payment solutions. UK still top 1, I think in Europe, and also I think we should add Netherlands like a separate country with good possibility to open fast e-commerce, and after this operate from this country. If you talk about Asia, depends on product, but in Asia, of course, makes sense start in Australia. if you have good solutions for payments and good solutions for logistics, and yes, for logistics. So some risks, it also depends on products. I describe here some examples like wine, like agro products is wine, cheese, etc., etc. We can categorize this like commodity, which is all very, very old businesses with strong local players and with strong local regulation. And it's very difficult to, we can't say that it's very difficult to compete. It's very difficult to start. And sometimes even Ukrainian business try to do something in Europe, in these regions, like in Ukraine, it doesn't work. And it doesn't work not because of marketing or because of business side, it's because of legal side. And it's need to be checked before. Second problem, if you talk about some trend products, especially if you talk about Amazon side, you need to check if you have Chinese people and Chinese sellers in your category, because very often you can have very fancy product or a product which really need for market, some furniture, for example, some electronics, some cartridges for printers, for example. But there are a lot of Chinese, and in most of cases they do dumping because they can, because they want some valuation part of market, something like this, and they do dumping. For Amazon, it's not problems, but for competition, it's very big problem. That's why yes, you pay attention on when you choose segment, what is going on between these moments. So if second, of course, it's marketing, because if you open new brand or brand which is popular on another market, but on new markets, you need to invest some quantity of money, and mostly it's a lot of money in ads, in direct ads, later maybe brand awareness, but sometimes in some niches it's impossible return this money in first and second months, and maybe you need like 3, 4, 5 purchases, sales, just to money back, and you need to be ready for this, because in Ukraine, in most of niches, and in Eastern Europe also, in most of niches, if you have shop in Romania, for example, you try to expand to Germany, yes, it's different. Most of niches in Eastern Europe, we can return money back from first sales, and it's very comfortable, yes, because sometimes you can get or break even from first sale or even profit. But if you open some competitive markets, in most of cases and in most of niches, you need to have some retention, and it's also part of marketing on which you need to pay attention and think about this from scratch. Collect database, set up trigger emails, and something like this. Something specific for delivery in Ukraine, we like because delivery very quickly. In some countries, it's not like this. For example, I have client in Italy, and his average delivery was 7 days, and he said it's okay for this type of business, for this niche, for this product, it's okay. That's why you need maybe sometimes you don't need do very quick delivery and pay more, because sometimes it's possible, because it will decrease your margin, and you need to understand what your competitors do, and you need to understand if really quick delivery it's a unique selling point, because sometimes long 5-7 days delivery it's okay for market, and pay more does not make sense. And research what you want, which product you want to advertise, especially if you open a special new type of business. From my experience, like right now, very good work, of course, eco products, because it's trend in UK, in USA, of course, Canada, and health, wellness, and beauty. Yes, beauty. Beauty, it's niche with which I work last years, I think, not years, 11 months. I have 3 shops in beauty regions. I answered questions from chat. Yes, one of this, it's focused right now mostly on Australia. It's multi-brand. They sell a lot of brands, but just in Australia and New Zealand. And he planned to expand in Europe. and this shop became profitable from second month. It's very good, but it's specific of Australian market. If you talk about skincare, beauty, if you do your brand, yes, direct DTC brand. Right now I work with one brand which advertise in 8 European countries and USA and Canada. Beauty. Yes, it's possible it's possible to sell successfully in European Union, but right now customer acquisition cost. I mean, you can return money for customer acquisition cost for fast buyer from force purchase. It means that you should have really good retention. Yes, not from fast. From fast sales, impossible. And if you talk about how to reach customers, if classic, of course, start from paid ads, Facebook and Google, but also from what I see, Facebook, it's mostly brand awareness and return. I mean, ROI from monthly ROI, ROAS for this product, it's 1.2, but from Google it's 7. But it's included branding, included brand keywords because of brand awareness. And if you invest in Facebook, you will return this money via organic and via Google search. But markets, it's profitable. But unfortunately, it will not be in this presentation. But yes, I can answer more deeply in chats. I mean, in questions. If you talk about EU, mostly, of course, it's UK, Netherlands, Germany. If you talk about Nordics, it's pretty good to work in Norway, Finland, Denmark, but I don't know why. We didn't find the reason. Doesn't work in Sweden. Maybe especially this DTC brand, maybe, I don't know, but in our case, Sweden doesn't work. Maybe because of competition, local marketplaces, but there is some nuances. I hope I answered the question. So before you start, of course, it's part of analysis. It's marketplaces, because sometimes we know that it's Amazon, maybe something else, but there are a lot of local marketplaces, especially in Sweden, for example, some quantity of local marketplaces. And also depends on what you do, which type of products. If you do some furniture, a lot of local marketplaces in Europe, and you should research them, because maybe it does not make sense do paid ads at all. Maybe it makes sense sell via these marketplaces, and for some type of businesses it's better than invest money in paid ads from scratch. From marketing side, you need to understand their unique selling points. That's why we need to analyze their landing pages, product cards, and etc. Of course, identify demand and all this basic stuff, and calculate profitability model. I mean, if you open ecommerce, you need to become rich in Excel. Yes, if you can't calculate, if you can't find profit in Excel, even approximately, does not make sense open this market. Because if you see in Excel it's very bad, and you hope that, oh, let's try, maybe it will be better. In general, no, it will not be better. So, question about building separate website for international traffic. I mean, language and content. Yes, maybe you shouldn't do separate domains. And it's also a question, if you talk about Europe, it's enough to do it's under one domain and do different version of different directory, different languages. If you talk about Asian country, it depends on culture. Sometimes if you work in some Vietnam, Thailand, Japan, for example, better to have the local domain .th, .gp, because it's about trust. If you talk about Europe, you can have domain .com, .eu, and do different versions, and it's enough. But Asian countries, even Emirates, I mean Arab countries, yes, like Saudi Arabia, Emirates, better to have local positioning because it's influence on trust, and this type of countries really, I mean, level of trust, it's more important than something else. So of course do normal translation, not with Google Translate, AI tools, and etc. etc. You can do basic translation, but native speaker need double check, because specification of naming, how you name products in different countries, different meaning, especially if it's not standardized. Yes, because if you sell electronics, maybe it's standardized. If you sell clothes, if you sell beauty stuff, especially beauty stuff, different cosmetic stuff, where materials, a local person should read this. Of course, sizes, if it's clothes or footwear, shoes, and etc., because Europe, USA, Asia, different sizes, metrics. And of course, currency, because even example, USA dollars and Canadian dollars. I remember we have case when we sell in Canada with USD because of some problems of integration, and it was problem. It wasn't profitable after this we switched currency, and ROAS increased. That's why all this stuff it's needed. Yes, it's like target Europe and show prices in USD. They understand, but it's not what they expect. That's why just local currency, and even in Europe, if you target Romania, it should be Romanian lei, not euro, because NIA will be shopped with local currency, and it's much more understandable and just increase conversion rate. Payment, shipping, and logistics, it's mostly business side, not marketing side, but sometimes you can open just PayPal and Stripe and let's go, and in most of cases it's enough. But if you want increase conversion rate for some specific country, for example, Klarna for Scandinavia, Ideal for Netherlands, or ideally you should open some players in local markets, and see what they do, because in Czech Republic, if you open some stores, you can find 10-15 payment solutions. And I remember I asked one client why you can't integrate Stripe and do everything comfortable, and they said that specifically, in their country, in Czech Republic, they have a lot of banks, and for clients much more easier do this transfer. They choose like on such list bank and let's go. And it's increased conversion rate instead of use one centralized Stripe. It's first moment. Second, it's much more cheaper because percentage we Stripe charge sometimes it's higher than locals. And even for these local banks, you can find local payment providers. Yes, if for Czech Republic, you shouldn't have 15 bank accounts. Yes, you need to work with one payment solution who implement some plugin in your website, and you can get money from clients. He paid from their bank account, but you will get on your bank account centralized via this payment solution, and it costs like some small percentage. Also, next one, local banks. Yes, I explained shipping. I have one. Shipping. You should understand where is your product store. It's first moment, and second, insurance. Because I have one experience with my clients. It was client from Australia, and he sold some clothes, and this fulfillment worked without any insurance, and was burned. And all products, for the next 6 months was burned, and client became bankrupt because he paid for products in advance, sent this to fulfillment for storage. It was burned, and zero guarantee because he worked without insurance. Maybe it's not very common case study, but it can be, and maybe work without insurance. It looks better, but you need to protect yourself. DHL is so expensive, and it really depends on market. Yes, because sometimes local post, it depends on where fulfillment and what you can use. Yes, because if you fulfillment in Italy and you sell in Italy, you can use another moment. Yes, because in some European country, local post work pretty well, like in Slovenia, for example, in this Balkan countries. Yes, it's worked pretty good. In Czech Republic also. In Romania, maybe debatable. But yes, if your fulfillment just in one country and you sell for all EU, need to find solutions. So maybe for Portugal, you should use another provider. If you write me maybe in direct message, I can try some of my clients which solutions they use for Europe and provide you answers. Because to be honest with you, I so much details I don't know. Because FedEx, it's sometimes horrible, for example, but it's also solutions. And returns, chargeback, yes, you should know. I mean, it should be in your economy because it's very difficult to manage. And if you have not very expensive product, maybe sometimes you should forget about your product. Yes, if it costs not so much, it's very expensive paid for back for return. So next step is adapt analytics for international sales. In general, in most of platforms, it's automatically integrated. If you use Shopify, there are everything from box. You can buy all plugins for Google Analytics, for all pixels, catalogs, even for GDPR right now, for Cookiebot, etc. If you use some custom website or not very integrated solution or some local solution, I don't know, like I work with clients who has some Sweden CMS, and it's impossible to integrate with everything. Yes, of course, you will pay for programmer for all this stuff, but if you work in Shopify and maybe makes sense to start tests with Shopify, everything this you can close. There how do you measure new market? We need to understand. No, at first, if depends on business model and what you sell. But if you for first 2 months you will get break even from marketing, okay, first second month from marketing, and for first 3-4 months you will get break even from marketing and operational side. Yes, your business in break even. In general, it's okay, but it depends because I have client who sells some. He has DTC brand, he has watches, Switzerland brand, high level of competition, average order value about 2,000 euro, and when he open new country, he waiting for get operational break even about 7-8 months. But everything we can calculate in ROI. No, at first in ROAS, after this ROMI, ROMI, and after this just return marketing investment, and after this return all investments, because you can invest in another source, not just in paid ads, for example. GDPR, you should be careful with this because in Europe it's very important. You can be fined. You can get some fine from government, yes. And I have just one case study with client who get 50K fine, but not from e-commerce. It was from fintech because he played with this checkbox and with banner, and because he want to track data better and etc. You shouldn't do this. Maybe when you are small, no one care. But if you become a little bit bigger, or if someone inform government departments about this, I mean, you better be careful, because even from my experience, I don't work with really big brand. No, I work with big brands, with small brands, but I got just one time this fine, but I think it's a lot. One time it's mostly a lot because it was 50K euro. It was stored in Germany for German markets, maybe because of this, but better follow rules. And after this pre-launch, because most easier. I mean, we have just three quick marketing channels: affiliation, influencers, and acquisition. Acquisition, it means paid ads. Affiliation, very difficult to start. Influencers, it's possible, and for some niches makes sense. For some fields, niches make sense. But much more easier start with paid ads, because you can do some prediction based on auction or based on consultation from another specialists. and test your hypothesis for some specific country. And if you decided with influencers, okay, it makes sense for some niches and for some countries like Arabic world influencers or Asian country influencers and expensive products, it's good. I mean, some luxury product, much more better than sell via paid ads. Europe, it's mostly paid ads just after these influencers. You should build basic media plan because you need to understand what you expect. It shouldn't be like very pessimistic, optimistic. Try to put reality in this because, I mean, you need become rich in Excel, yes. If you build media plan and you see that it's impossible to be profitable, and in some, I mean, in that period which you expect, yes, maybe you should wait for opening these markets, because if you expect return money for 3 months, but you need 6 months based on media plan, maybe you need to wait for collect more money and open this market. Set up Google Analytics, pixels, all this stuff. Ideally, if you want to cross-channel analytics and you do more than one channel, in future you need to connect and you do Shopify. There are some 360 analytics like Trip Whale, for example, for Shopify. It worked pretty good, and it's fixed some problems with tracking and with cross-channel stuff. That's why, yes, in future you need to have centralized analytics, or you can do custom, but sometimes it's very expensive to have custom. So yes, localization of feeds, every country, every currency, every language. Does not make sense to sell someone on English in Romania or in Hungary because they don't understand this language. So when they Google similar names like iPhone, for example, yes, very basic example, or some electronics, and they see English, they will not react on this because they don't speak English at all. I mean, small percentage of people. And creative localization, local trends. You can, if you open a new market, you try to find top players, check their creatives, even copy their creatives, steal their ideas. It's also good. Why not? And because in most of cases, if they are local, they know local mindset, and it's like great example for Arabic. Yes, a lot of Western people advertise when they advertise in MENA region. They use Arabic men in Arabic dresses. Yes, because it's Arabs. But local shops have never done this. Local businesses don't do this because it's like it's not relevant. And if they see that some ads with Arab is in this white dress, men's dress, it's not trust. Yes, at this moments you need to understand and match. The shortest way it's copy from competitors. So next one, campaign types. For Google, of course, it's much more easier start and test hypothesis in most of niches. It's PMAX. For some niches, still makes sense to test old shopping, especially if they standardize names, some electronic or something like this. Or yes, makes sense to test old shopping. It's worked pretty good. Yes, and search demand gen like tests depends on niches, makes sense to do. Approximately launch frameworks, but of course everything is individual between of niche, quantity of SKU, languages, markets, currencies, etc., etc. So if you talk about PMAX, yes, I do recommend start with 3-5 assets, maximize conversion strategy. It's work pretty good from my experience. Of course, maybe makes sense to start with target ROAS, maximize ROAS, but if you don't have data in account, may maximize conversions for some 1-2 weeks. It's good for learning period. Signals should be relevant, or search themes, or search topics. If you have a lot of SKU, in, for example, clothes or beauty, yes. If you have like, I don't know how everyone start, but if you have 1,000 or 2,000 SKU, it's not a lot. But if it's new market and you put all SKU in one campaign, sometimes it's not very good. Try to focus on one category And after this, add category by category. You can test, optimize campaigns much more better and understand what is going on. Maybe some products shouldn't be advertised at all, especially in clothes or in beauty sphere. Yes, in beauty sphere, in beauty field, I have client. She has this like eyebrow and something like this stuff. She's advertised just sets, and after this, all upsells from unique products of these sets she has never advertised. But as a result, a lot of retention sales came from this unique SKU. But she advertised just sets, packages, like etc. Yes, it's standard stuff. When you got 30, 20, 40 sales, you can switch for us if you want. Yes, and regular optimization, which we should do. So if you do standard shopping, still makes sense. Of course, you need to do much more deeply research before. Try to collect as much as possible negative keywords, and yes, and do feed optimization. You should do this also for PMAX, but it's much more important here. And I use this formula in most of cases, and it's work. And after this, just by tests, I can say that, okay, we should change this formula because it's not working in this market. Also, all language. On Arabic language, everything works pretty different. Or in Thai language, there are no spaces, for example. That's why also nuance how to do structure in fit. And it's some example of structure of campaigns, but it's individual for niche. Search campaign, if you set up standard shopping, you do deeply keyword research for negative keywords. In this process, you will get some quantity of good keywords. And for some products, you should do the search from scratch. I know that right now big trend set up PMAX and forgot about everything. But if you have high margin, luxury products, if you have multi-brand, if you have strong competitors which similar to you, you can get this traffic from search and more targeted. And for example, this campaign which use competitive brand keywords, you can still traffic from competitors pretty easy. Just epic moments if you want or don't want. But I think if it's profitable, you should do this. And second, brand. If if owner of brand invest in branding and someone finds Google specifically this brand, why not? You should also target these keywords. But if you are owner of your own brand, no, just you promote your brands, yes, your brand, and you should use your branded keywords, just like brand protection campaign, because if you become bigger, your competitors will start to use your brand name in ads. So demand gen, it really depends on product. If it's something fancy, new, and not so much volume in search, sometimes PMAX or even demand gen bring sales. And sometimes demand gen bring a lot of middle conversions, like checkout, for example. People come to checkout, people come to add to cart. And after this, you can do remarketing via Facebook and close the sales. Yes, I mean a lot of add to carts via demand gen. After this, sales coming from Facebook, from specifically this audience. It's a very generic case for clothes, for some fashion area. For beauty sometimes also, but for fashion area, it's what work very often because someone check ads, add to cart and forgot about this. With how to promote brand and large ads. Yes, makes sense. I mean, like workshop, you mean? I think yes, but it's another type of webinar, for example. Yes, it's like not webinar, it's workshop, but yes. Yeah, I understand. With examples, with sharing account, yes, maybe in future we will discuss this. So Toolset, how they work together, because right now for most of my clients, because I work mostly right now with beauty and fashion and a little bit watch. I mean, I have two watches brand. I use this three combination of these three brand, of these three networks, and Bing for watches I use also, but it's like a small amount. And really, for a percent ready to buy now, luxury products, if it's with good brand, maybe more people are ready to buy now, but it depends. It depends on market. So yes, like 20% of problem aware, yes, they understand they need the solutions, and they try to learn on something like this, read about this. People know that they need this, but maybe not now, maybe later, and most of them put this in add to cart because they don't want to forget. Sometimes they even can do registration, but put in add to cart and leave this website in the folder, yes, on browser and stuff like this, and forgot about this. And Facebook remarketing worked pretty good for this. So, but it's standard classification, I think, for e-commerce average, but after this depends on market, you should divide this. Yes, ecosystem. Of course, TikTok right now, it's a new trend, but I don't put TikTok here because if we talk about e-commerce, for me right now, it's we also do TikTok, but it separates direction where we work more on creatives instead of ads. And if you talk about e-commerce, you should find, I mean, models who do these videos, should, especially like UGC videos, should have this product. And for watches, for example, we have brand from Netherlands. They it's very good that local people speak English very good, but they try to find native speakers for every language, and they present these watches and sell. If you talk about beauty, similar situation. She has two solutions: hire itself or hire agency. Beauty who works in this like 7-8 countries in Europe, she hire agency, and an agency manage videos with local speakers. And for me, TikTok right now, creative is much more important than targeting and etc. Because algorithm of TikTok work like this. So the foundation of international sales, shopping and performance marks, like what is something from scratch. And after this depends on niches like search, demand gen, and even remarketing. If you have bigger brand, RLSA still work. It's very old method, but for beauty, it still work because they are quite big. So Meta, you can set up standard campaign with banners, but if you have, I mean, more than 20, 30 or 50 products, makes sense to take catalogs in general, all this dynamic part of Facebook. Yes, and after this, if you have some bestsellers, you can create some fancy banners, you can create even some fancy landing pages for some specific products and try to sell as much as possible. And for beauty, especially for this toolkit, yes, sets, it's work pretty good because you can't create landing page for every product. But if you have bestsellers, makes sense to do this. Yes, and also Pinterest, not for every niche, but maybe I am lucky right now, and I work mostly with fashion, beauty, and Pinterest work pretty good, of course in USA, of course in Nordic countries, and in UK. In Germany, we do some tests, but right now results like debatable, not profitable, but near to break even. So here's some description how to work, and because users like do pin, saves these products, yes, and makes sense to test Pinterest and pin live for a month, not like post in Meta, for example. And advertorial content, it's like just an example, like it can be someone. You can do this like booklet, yes, and publish. and it's worked pretty well, especially if you can boost this from ads or use some organic hacks, how you publish this and make this viral. It's maybe not pretty similar to TikTok, but in TikTok you also can put some testimonials video without any promotion, and it will become viral. It's pretty similar algorithm, but we need to do, I think, in Pinterest much more tests, because I can say that higher competition, but it's picture. Yes, it's not video. Video much more easier to boost in TikTok, but it's still, you can get free sales from Pinterest. Or one stuff about this. For example, it's also for niches, handmade. Yes, if people do some DIY, and so maybe they need some products for this DIY. Yes, products. Instruments, some tools using which they can do this DIY. It's also a good Pinterest also a good place for this type of products. Not just product, but something relevance for this, like near relevance, I can say. And some quick basic analytics, because we don't have much time, for case study in that format in which unfortunately client approved me to say, but yes, because it's everything on the NDA, but okay. Underwear store. So it was Shopify. I think right now I have most of clients on Shopify, but it's okay. Different countries. Yes, and if we, 117,000 SKU, and we, for example, started in some European countries just with some categories, with some bra or some pants or complex, and just after this we'll add another stuff, or just for some Italia, for example. Yes, we started just with erotic complex, and after this add another stuff, because it's we did previous research and found local behavior, how better to start products. So also we bought some consultations from local marketers, and of course, if we have so much SKU in such niche, like underwear store, it's PMAX campaign. For some brands with name, we use search and Facebook, and Facebook mostly for remarketing at first, and in future it's cold traffic, but cold traffic is near break-even every time, because ROAS pretty high, pretty low, unfortunately. And with such type of niche, you should be very careful with photo, because at first advertisement system doesn't like, and second, in some countries, if you show body, you can get a lot of bad comments from people. Germany, great example. A lot of people who are Muslims saw videos with model who present some bra, for example. A lot of bad comments. You need to be ready for this, because you can't exclude Muslims, unfortunately. But this local behavior, you need to be ready for some unexpected stuff. Yes, profitability from south of Europe, we got from third month, from Germany, for example, 7 months, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, multi-brand, but it's also nuanced, because from scratch we added our brands, plus not so much local brands. In future, when we integrate more local brands, it became profitable, and it will be a combination of local brands, our brands, and at first from local brands we collect some quantity of people, and after this via email upsell them something else, what is really good. Some uniform store in Spain. Yes. So in Spain, a lot of, from my experience, fraud with logistic, and you need to be really careful with provider of logistic, because something can be stolen. One moment, I describe this somewhere. Moment. Yes, it's problem with PSP. It's understandable, but okay, I'm not sure that I put this. Okay, nuance that product which can't be open use. Yes, sometimes people on Spain, because of delivery service, customers can open and after this refund because it's some part of culture. But in some specific products, it can't. You can no, by law. I mean by law, yes, and something like this. If it's opened, you can sell the second time, and specifically this uniform store, it was such cases. That's why yes, plus a lot of fraud with payments, and you should have some payment solutions. You need to do some research before you connect some local payment solutions, and maybe start with Stripe and after this expand, because Spain is some specific country. It's one Ukrainian skincare brand for Polish market. It's a little bit old case. Yes, I don't live in Spain, unfortunately, and we did this mistake, and client don't live in Spain. That's why he lost some part of money. And this, I mean, I don't know, high level of friendship in Spain between people, I don't know, in general, maybe we can say, its influence on business, and yes. So it's nuances of location. So skincare brand, Ukrainian brand in Poland. Of course, we started like do tests from Instagram, and client has some experience in influence marketing. That's why, and some, how to say, community. Yes, he found some micro influencers, and it was a good case because micro influencers work pretty good if you have someone who has relationships with them. Because big influencers very easy to find, very expensive to buy. Micro influencers very cheap to buy, but very difficult to find and do negotiation. Yes. After this, of course, we send users not just for Instagram. After this, just for our website also, because we need to collect emails, do retention, and etc. Because it's beauty brand, and we did some, yes, because we didn't understand it was Polish, but on Poland I put in English just for understandable. We tried to use this high-level keywords like a test because in another brands, just on English it was like test, but in Poland, especially in skincare, we found that just long tail keywords work for beauty, for example. Short, like 2-3 words, it's not very good. A lot of nuances, not just high level of competition, it doesn't convert even if the traffic really clean. Maybe because they won't just check price or something like this, I don't know. But in future, ROAS was 4.5, break-even ROAS 2.7. That's why, yes. And result, we got break-even on middle of third month, even with influencers, because we invest in influencers. It's cheap, but still cost money, and retention back money just on middle of third month. And after this, from middle of third month, we became profitable, and ROAS from meta traffic 4.5. From influencers, it's about 6, but some influencers bring 2, some influencers 11. That's why it really depends on person. Plus, it's not stable because 1 month influencer convert the same person, yes, in 1, 2, 3, 4 months. It stop convert. That's why it's a good channel, but another specific. Pet food market, it's that commodity business or near to commodity, and some Ukrainian brand tried to open this. And I wrote a lot of text. It's not very good for presentation, but it's like example of niche that you need to be ready, because it's regulation pretty similar to fintech. And it's crazy, yes, because you need a lot of regulatory barriers, and you need, it's more 80% of loyal instead of marketing and business. Yes, at first you need to close loyal side. Even in Romania, which is not very regulated, a lot of problems with documents. If we talk about Germany, France, and after this Nordics, it's pretty crazy, but Germany pretty good market, and when brand fixed this, he became profitable. But also they open multi-store shop. They do combination of their products, local products, fancy products like popular, yes, like Royal Canin and etc., like Purina and etc. Just in this combination, it's profitable, because if you want to promote your own brand, you need to invest a lot of money in brand awareness, in trust. It takes time. That's why better teach people to buy your products in parallel with fancy products, which is also method. Of course, in your Royal Canin, you have near to zero march, yes, in such countries, but you became database. That's why it's also method how to operate. So yes, it's about mostly it's relevance about beauty. For example, my case study, we spent $120K per month in Facebook. ROAS 1.2, 1.3, 1.4 sometimes. In Google, we spent about 70 because we can't spend more. And our ROAS like about 6 right now, I think. Plus organic, plus upsales from email marketing and community. That's why sometimes Facebook is just for demand generation. Yes, in fact, in Shopify right now, big problem with tracking. We try to fix this using some external tools. It's still in progress because in some countries with this new GDPR stuff, it's big problems, especially if you talk about Safari and etc. And you need to be careful because you can't just believe in Facebook pixel what you see in Facebook account, because you can see in Facebook account like 100 sales, in Tripwire 70, in Shopify 0. Sometimes can be such situation, and you need to find one source of truth and measure campaigns by this. Because if you see Google Ads from Google Ads, TikTok from TikTok, and Meta from Meta, and you do multiplication, and you get like 30% sales more than you have in reality. It's also very important stuff. Dynamic ads, it's powerful, save time for testing, it's okay. And campaign structure, it still work. Top, middle, and bottom of funnel. It's very old, how to say, framework, funnel framework. But it's like where you can start, yes, from this. You shouldn't found and do something more difficult because it's trend somewhere in, I don't know, in TikTok, yes, on TikTok, in LinkedIn, some difficult marketing funnels which maybe don't need for start. At first, you need to do base, like core, and after this, do some improvement. But some marketers or some business owners forgot about this. Yes, Lookalike audience still work in Europe. In USA, for example, I use in some businesses just broad because of algorithm, and just after this try to do some lookalikes or interest. But it still work in Europe, it still work in UK, still work in Middle East, maybe because of different policy, I don't know, in GDPR, but Europe and Middle East different, but still work in both regions. UGC content you should do. Of course, sometimes it's very expensive because German want a lot of money, and German speakers, for example, yes, or Norway speakers, or I mean, expensive country. In expensive country, hire actor were not very cheap. That's why you sometimes, very often, I mean, not sometimes, much more easier hire agency and order from them some amount of UGC. They do for you some competitive price, because if you write script, translate, hire actor from Upwork, do motion, sometimes, and spend your own time and calculate how much this UGC can cost. And with one of my clients, we calculate that based of salary, quantity of videos which his internal team produce, cost per video was €700. It's crazy, but agency charge 350, 450. And what is the sense? Do this in-house if you can if you can buy this from agency, because they have really good operational process, and cost per video will be cheaper for you. And if you it is not one video, yes, you need decades sometime per month. Clear CTA, buy now, pay later. If you have client, Klarna also work. So depends on region, yes, but this really direct call to action still work. So video work better than static, it's old trend. And of course, every time do A/B testing, not because of you need to do something, but we need to find better solutions. Yes, it's some combination of elements inside Facebook, which pretty similar, like for Google Performance Max, it's like Facebook version of PMax, work pretty good if you have mass market products. For beauty, it's work. And for Pinterest, it's like summary, yes, for visual niches, which we discussed. And most of audience, unfortunately, it's women. I think it was official statistics from Pinterest for 2024, yes. About 70% people is women, but main audience growing every year. And some products right now you can advertise in Pinterest for men also. Yes, it's like for which kind of brands. It's like a little bit duplication, sorry for that. And how to use Pinterest. Use promoted pins. I think it's the most easier and profitable way. You can start with retargeting, just with retargeting, and after this expand. And of course, with parallel with just paid, you can do your own boards, like some combinations or something like this, or advertorials or something like this. It's work. It's work, especially on long-term period. Some small example of Scandinavian home ideas for Scandinavian brand. 250k pin views. I should add CTR, maybe. Yes, it's my fault. Maybe I will update this in presentation. User return in 6 months. And I mean, they save and buy later. And that's why I said about long-term investment in this. And it's not real investment, because create a board in Pinterest, it's not very expensive. And put some graphics there, even if you need to pay designer for this. If you compare with paid ads or with normal SEO, SEO, yes, with normal SEO, it's really competitive price. And if in your niche Pinterest works, you should think about this. And summary, ignore localization, it's bad. Even if people in Germany know English, they hate English, you need to do localization for Germany. Some small quantity of country, mostly Nordics, they respect English. Sweden, for example, yes, maybe from scratch you can start English, but in future you need to do Sweden language. Yes, you shouldn't spray and pray. You choose 1-2 countries and test this. And you shouldn't copy strategy between countries. If you plan invest like 5,000 in open new market or 10,000, please hire some local consultant, pay him 300 USD or Europe and 1 hour consultation. Ask him everything what you want, and you will get some insights which save you thousands in future. I understand that sometimes like pay someone 300, 500 for consultation, it's still crazy, but it's like crazy. Yes, it's a lot of money, but it save you thousands and can send you thousands in future. It's very important, and I recommend sometimes for my clients do this. If you open Asian markets or MENA, I don't imagine how you can open this country without this tests, without this consultation. It's some basic stuff, yes, which we can skip right now. It's some key takeaways, a little bit duplication, yes, sorry. Maybe if you have some trend product, what I didn't include this here because I didn't include TikTok. Sometimes if you want test, you can create some 20, 30, 40 videos for cheap in TikTok, put this in organic TikTok in 10, 15, 20 accounts, and understand how this work, how this push organically. With some of my clients do this. I know it's not my area, but I know that some of my clients do this, especially these clients who has 15, 20 shops. They do such tests like this. Sometimes they do this accounts, and after this advertise some videos. They want to understand feedback from audiences, but finally they don't sell anything, just do tests. It's also method via TikTok, which you can test because it's TikTok work pretty good right now, especially in USA, Canada, like this. So, questions, if you have, I can answer, or I can answer. I don't know, in direct messages if you need.
Stanislav, thank you very much. Thank you for the presentation, for your examples, for your teams. You answered most questions in the chat, and there is one more question. What's the fastest way, in your opinion, to validate demand in a new market? What do you think?
No, demand you can check in keyword volume at first. If someone Googles this, someone needs this at first moment. And also we can understand competition. If you want to understand if someone buys this, really buy, you can set up some small campaigns. But depends on market and product. You can't spend $50 for this. Yes, one of clients which has like 15, 20 shops. I don't know exactly how much. He allocate for every test about 5,000, but he advertised mostly in UK. And every test, every new niche, he creates some basic Shopify shop, and invest about 5,000 USD in Google and Facebook, and right now even in TikTok for test, because he won't really understand if it's work and no. And sometimes it's zero sales, even if you have demand. I mean, if you have volume in search. That's why yes, it's method which can be, but depends on investment.
Yeah, thank you very much. So I can see comments here in the chat. Well, I found this presentation very helpful. This was very helpful and informative from Kasperi too. Thank you guys for your feedback. Thank you, Stanislav, for your presentation. Really good, really valuable for us too. And I think we've got through all the questions. So maybe, Stanislav, you have any final thoughts or key takeaways you'd like to leave us with before we conclude?
Thank you for joining. Yes, and in future maybe we will get more. We will do more webinars. I don't know. We will see.
I like it. I believe. So thank you very much. Thank you all guys so much for joining us today as we explore the exciting world of paid ad scaling. We hope you're feeling inspired and empowered. And if you have any more questions or want to dive deeper into today's topics, don't hesitate to reach out to Stanislav. His LinkedIn in the live chat and other his contacts will be in the presentation. The presentation will be published in the SandPulse community. The link is pinned in the live YouTube live chat. So also, SandPulse community is always here to help you succeed. If you have any questions, stay tuned. Exciting things ahead. Until next time, keep building, keep thriving, and keep rocking it. Catch you later. Take care and stay awesome. Goodbye.